Dennis Prager here. Thanks for listening to the Daily Dennis Prager Podcast. To hear the entire 3 hours of my radio show, commercial-free, every single day, become a member of Pragertopia. You'll also get access to 15 years' worth of archives, as well as the daily show prep. Subscribe at Pragertopia.com. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the nearly mid-August edition of the Dennis Prager Show. I have to say that in Southern California, we have certainly been overwhelmingly spared any terrible heat this summer. It's been as pleasant as one can imagine. I actually ate outdoors last night. The state that is most adamant about climate change doesn't seem to be experiencing it at least that much this year. They are skiing, apparently, at Big Bear. Is that correct? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I don't know if they still are, but they were until recently.
But they were until very recently? It's amazing. That's how much snow fell and how the temperatures have not melted it. Professor fired for faking data. This is from the New York Post. Professor fired for faking data to prove lynching makes whites want longer sentences for blacks. 6 studies retracted. Florida State University criminology professor Eric Stewart was fired for allegedly falsifying data in his research. I want to understand something. Who caught him? Florida State University doesn't give a damn. Is it because of DeSantis?
No, it was a student.
A student outed him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Florida State University criminology professor Eric Stewart was a guru of the claim that systemic racism infests America's police and American society. Let me just go off on a tangent here. I've been mentioning to you that I'm reading this 600-page book on the Russian Civil War that followed the Russian Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution. And what you see, well, of course, I've known this my whole life, but of course, reading it, you're reliving it. If you substitute bourgeoisie for white, you have almost an identical replay of the Bolshevik Revolution taking place in the United States. And I'll explain why. This is important. What the communists, or Bolsheviks as they were originally known, in Russia did was declare all landowners, all property owners, all bourgeoisie, middle class, they are all guilty. Just as the left in the United States, which is a communist wannabe, declares all whites racist. There is no difference, but morally or intellectually, between what the communists did in their language, with their language, and what the left does with its language in America. The left is the opposite of Viktor Frankl's belief that there are only 2 races, the decent and the indecent. The left does not divide the world morally. It divides it either by class or by race or by power, and that's why the weak are always right and the strong are always wrong. That is the reason the left is pro-Palestinian, because Israel is stronger, and because they identify it as white, even though half the country is not white. That's why I concluded a number of years ago, it is wrong to say the left's moral compass is broken. And I mean this, what I'm about to say, literally. There is no moral compass. In order for one to have a moral compass, one must want to ask the question, what is right and what is wrong? But they don't. They ask who is saying something, not is he right. In order for a compass to work, you need to be seeking direction, geographic direction. Where is north, where is south, where is east, where is west? If you ask that question, the compass can help you. If you ask what is right and what is wrong, then a moral guideline can help you. But if you do not ask the question, if you don't care where north, south, east, and west are, then you don't have a moral compass. It's quite simple. The left does not ask what is right. They ask what is black, what is white, what is rich, what is poor. Just as the Bolsheviks. They didn't divide the world between right and wrong. They divided it between classes. If you were the child of a bourgeoisie, you were innately guilty and often worthy of death, as in China in the Cultural Revolution. That was enough to have you starved if you were a land-owning peasant. Florida State University criminology professor Eric Stewart was a guru of the claim that systemic racism infests America's policies and American society. Now he's out of a job on account of extreme negligence, quote unquote, in his research. Now it's very interesting. I wrote a piece. How many hoaxes did I mention in my piece? 18? Do you remember the number?
Could have been
The left, which is not interested in truth, because that's a moral concept as well as just an intellectual concept, they accuse me of writing that column, which is correct. I wrote the column. I stand by it. That if there is a swastika or a noose or N-word scribbled on a dorm room where a black student sleeps, that the odds are that it was done by either a black or a leftist, that it was not done by a white racist. And I gave all these examples of hoaxes. And I said, if I'm wrong, just give me examples of where this took place, and it was a racist act by a white. Nobody has ever come forth with anything analogous to 18 or whatever number I provided. I would retract what I said then. Why did this professor make up these data? Why are there so many race hoaxes? Because there's so little racism. So they have to lie. We live in the world of left-wing lies. We bathe in it. We are drowning in it. The academic was fired after almost 20 years of his data, including figures used in an explosive study which claimed the legacy of lynchings made whites perceive blacks as criminals. Do you understand that even? How does the legacy of lynchings make whites see blacks as criminals? Okay. And that the problem was worse among conservatives. Of course. Those data were found to be in question. College authorities said he was being fired for incompetence and false results. Among the studies he has had to retract were claims that whites wanted longer sentences for blacks and Latinos. Yeah, because whites have a real soft spot for white criminals. Oh, God. The absurdity of it. Yeah, I'll tell you, we have a white rapist here and a black rapist here, and whites just think that the whites should have a linear sentence. Is linear a word? Leaner. and linear. Oh, my God. I'll give you some more of the data. Well, my friends, got to say one thing. They haven't won yet. I have a lot of proof of that. We'll be back. Don't miss the most inspirational movie of the summer, Briarcliff Entertainment's The Hill, starring Dennis Quaid, in theaters Friday, August 25th. The true story of professional baseball player Ricky Hill. Growing up poor in small-town Texas, young Ricky discovered his extraordinary ability for hitting a baseball. But with leg braces and a degenerative spinal disease, the major leagues were just a dream that could never be. Courageously, he risks it all. Defying his father's wish to follow in his footsteps to become a pastor, Ricky tries out for a major league scout. Pushing hard to overcome his disability, he goes on to become a baseball phenomenon. Some dreams are unbreakable. The Hill, starring Dennis Quaid, Colin Ford, and Scott Glenn. The true inspirational story about family, faith, and a baseball miracle. Don't miss The Hill, rated PG, in theaters Friday, August 25th. Get your tickets now. Hello, everybody. So, again, I'm reading to you from this professor here who has been, I guess, fired. Is he fired? Yeah, he's fired? That's cool. It's very rare, I have to say. But he's been faking data on all these studies to show how whites are racist. Yes, that's right. Just remember, communists said all bourgeoisie, all landowners, and, for that matter, any property owners. And the left in America says all whites. As soon as you say all, you're a fool, you're a bigot, you have no moral basis for what you say. All is the killer word, but that's what they say. All whites are racist. Well, I'm tempted to say that all leftists are fools. And the reason I'm tempted is that why is that different from all whites are racist? Because you can stop being a fool tomorrow or today, but you can't stop being a white. Leftism is leavable. Race is not leavable. I don't know why. If sex is, why isn't race? But that's a separate subject. That's why you can't say, well, he says all leftists are fools. And the moment you stop being a fool, you will leave the left. You could be a liberal. You know, I asked, this is very important. I think I've made somewhat of an impact. Because when I first said it, and not just first, I mean for years, people said, why are you making a distinction? Why are you drawing a distinction between left and liberal? There are many answers. One is because I really, really, really love truth. And that's the truth. The distinction between the liberal individual and the leftist individual is not great. Because the liberal individual votes for the left. But there is a massive difference between liberalism and leftism. Liberals are the weakest. Conservatives are stronger than liberals, and leftists are stronger than liberals. Liberals are weak. They vote the way they do out of peer pressure, out of habit. Conservatives believe in conservatism. Leftists believe in leftism. And liberals do not believe in liberalism. That is a summary of the crisis of America in a nutshell. Anyway, let's see here. There was a student, I can't believe it. We're going to try to have him on. I really salute him. A graduate student at the School of Criminology at Florida State, Justin Pickett, blew the whistle on the issues with the data. That is really, you know how much work that takes? And guts? Work and guts? Wow. Pickett said he had worked together in 2011 researching whether the public was demanding longer sentences for black and Hispanic criminals as those minority populations grew, with the paper claiming that they did. But Stewart had fiddled the sample size to deliver that result. How do you live with yourself? I have an answer. That's why I love analyzing these stories. How does this professor live with himself? He knows he's lying. This is as clear as possible. He has manipulated data. He knows he's lying. So there are a number of conclusions to draw. One, the general weakness of the human conscience. This man, I have a very strong suspicion, was at peace with his conscience when he lied about whites, because the left has given him permission, has shaped his conscience. The conscience is utterly malleable. It is as strong as putty, and it is putty in the hands of the mind and the emotions. You can have your conscience believe anything you want it to believe. So this professor, like all leftists, does not have a conscience that thinks in moral terms, but a conscience that thinks in racial terms. So he was honoring his conscience by lying about whites. The whole left lies about whites. The vast majority of your kids' teachers lie about whites. They lie about sex and gender. Because their interest is not, is it true? Is it true is not a left-wing question. Does it further the cause of equity? That might be. Does it shatter the bourgeoisie, the middle-class values that have shaped this country? That matters. Is it true? Don't bother me. Okay, that's pretty good. That's really clear. After 16 years as a professor of criminology at Florida State in Tallahassee, Provost James Clark formally notified Stewart he was being terminated. My question is this related in any way to the shakeup of Florida universities since DeSantis became governor? I am not sure that most colleges would fire a black professor for lying about whites. I don't think Arizona State would. I don't think Brown University would. I think Yale would probably give the professor a commendation. I don't know. I'm conjecturing. That, however, is a worthy question to be asked. How many colleges would terminate a black professor for lying about whites? We return.
The Dennis Prager Show.
Gold dealers are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. What sets these companies apart, and whom can you really trust? This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion, my choice for buying precious metals. When you buy precious metals, it's imperative that you buy from a trustworthy and transparent dealer that protects your best interests. So many companies use gimmicks to take advantage of inexperienced gold and silver buyers. Be cautious of brokers offering free gold and silver, or brokers that want to sell you overpriced collectible coins, claiming they appreciate more than gold and silver. What about hidden commissions and huge markups? Nick Grovich and his team at AmFed always have your back. I trust this man. That's why I mention him by name. Nick's been in this industry over 42 years, and he's proud of providing transparency and fair pricing to build trusted relationships. If you're interested in buying or selling, call Nick Grovich and his team at AmFed Coin and Bullion, 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com, AmericanFederal.com.
Well, come on,
Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager.
Come on, pretty baby, won't you talk
Do we have those videos ready of the do we have the videos of the, what do you call it? The podcasters, the young black podcasters reacting to PragerU video? Do we? Is it ready there, Sean? Yeah, okay. This is very dramatic, my friends. Very, very dramatic. I saw two of them. What is the title of it? What is Slavery? No, A History of Slavery?
A Short History of Slavery.
A Short History of Slavery, a PragerU video given by Candace Owens. I have not seen anything quite as dramatic as the black podcasters' reactions to that video that have just been put up in the last month. Popular, really popular, hundreds of thousands of views to these young podcasters. A young male, and I would say, I don't know, how old do you think the woman is? 30? Yeah. And she's African. He's African American. She's African. And they literally hold their head. You have to watch it. We should put it up at PragerU and at DennisPrager.com. When they hear, for example, at the beginning, whites did not invent slavery. Basic stuff, such basic facts, and their attitude, to their great credit, was, why didn't anybody ever teach me this? Basically, all I learned was slave ideology. Slavery ideology, not slavery facts. When we say PragerU changes minds, you should watch these videos. It's not hard to change minds. You know what the hard part is? The hard part is not putting out truth. The hard part is breaking through the hatred of PragerU that the left has, and therefore warning every young person, don't watch this. It's right-wing propaganda. It's right-wing propaganda to say that slavery has always existed. You know what a euphemism for right-wing, or an act, not euphemism, that right-wing propaganda is a euphemism, often, not always, often, for truth. If truth were allowed out, there would be no left. There would be liberals. There would be conservatives. There would be no left. Which one are we playing first?
The woman, I think, first. Yeah.
So the African woman, and what is her name? She's Princess something. What is the name? Because people should be aware. You're putting it up on I Am here.
No, on DennisPrager.com.
You're putting it up on DennisPrager.com, but in introducing it, I'd like to know the name, so that people will have a real clear sense. You should all ideally watch this. You can see it at the Salem News Channel right now as I speak to you, but you should watch it at some point. You should show it to your kids.
Empress Joy Jean.
Empress Joy Jean. Okay. Let's take it away. So she's playing the video, Candace Owens PragerU, about slavery and reacting.
Hi everyone, welcome back again to the channel. It is your girl back again with a new video, but today I will be doing something quite different. It is not a music reaction. I'll be listening to Candace Owens tells black people that white people did not invent slavery. They ended it. Now, this is contrary to what I have been told and made to believe.
Hold on. This is worth everything what you just heard. So here she is, this attractive, I'm a male, forgive me, this attractive black woman And I guess she normally does music videos. And she said, so I'm watching this PragerU video of Candace Owens about slavery, and I'm told whites did not invent slavery. Whites ended slavery. This is contrary to everything that she has been told. The famous line from the New Testament, "The truth shall set you free," has never been more obvious than in these black podcasters' reactions to this 5-minute video. It is so powerful that I got the chills watching it. How just so honestly she said, this is the opposite of everything I have been told. She has been lied to all of her life about slavery. They hate PragerU because we don't lie. On MyPillow's 20-year anniversary with over 80 million MyPillows sold, Mike Lindell at MyPillow wants to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. You'll receive a queen-size MyPillow for $19.98. Regular price is $69.98 and just $10 more for a king size. You'll receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products, such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. This is the time to try out some of their other amazing products you had your eyes on. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio/podcast square and use promo code Prager to receive this amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for $19.98 or call 800-761-6302. This offer comes with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's time to start getting the quality sleep you deserve. So go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code Prager or call 800-761-6302 today. Hey everybody, Dennis Prager here. There is so much to talk to you about. I on occasion say this, 3 hours is definitely not enough. Anyway, with commercials, it's not 3 hours. I have to be completely honest. There is a constant gnawing at me in my brain. Be fully accurate. I don't know where I got that. I think I got it from my home. Anyway, I forgot to mention to you yesterday the joy I had that Sweden defeated the United States soccer team. I told you it was the first time in my life I was rooting against a U.S. team. Most of the players on the U.S. women's soccer team are arrogant, ingrates. And I chose my words really carefully. I didn't go beyond that. They're arrogant ingrates. They're some of the luckiest human beings on earth to be on the U.S. women's soccer team. And they have contempt for this country, for its flag. When I see people take a knee, they didn't in this case. They just wouldn't sing the national anthem or wouldn't put their hand on their heart. Half the cases, including its captain, whom I consider despicable, Megan Rapinoe. She's truly despicable, and she has led her team down a very dark place. Half this country has contempt for the U.S. women's soccer team. I had the chills when Sweden won in the 5-penalty kick shootout. I mean, if you'd have told me at any time in my life in a Sweden-U.S. international match, I would be rooting for Sweden, I would have said, that proves there is a multi-universe. It would take another universe for that to happen. But it didn't. It happened in this universe. I wanted her to fail, and I wanted the team to lose. And so did at least half of America. And this is the result of their arrogant ingratitude, their contempt for the country. Why Americans root for people who have contempt for their country is a puzzle to me. It's a puzzle. I'll tell you that having nothing to do with morality, politics, etc. The 5 penalty thing was really tense. That was really tense. And it was divine justice that Megan Rapinoe screwed it up for them, kicking the ball over the goal. Sean, who are you rooting for? You can say U.S. I won't have that much contempt for you. Oh, you too? You too. Yeah, and it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Yeah, you want to. That's how I feel, exactly. I want to root for the L.A. Dodgers. I can't. A team that honors the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, honors, not just has them appear at the Dodger Stadium. Honors, gives them an honor. I'm not Catholic, but you don't have to be Catholic to find that offensive. There's not much to root for. What was the one team? There was one team in the major leagues, Texas Rangers, to do what? What was it again? I gotta find that because it is. Let me see if I have that.
Oh, that wouldn't wear or something.
Yes, you know what? I have a new system. I finally used it. I am so proud of myself. I could absolutely declare a national holiday. I have now on record in a document every subject I've talked about. Well, here it is. Texas Rangers remain only Major League Baseball team without Pride Night. All root for Texas Rangers. Pride Night. You should read my article on this whole pride issue. I am proud to be a bisexual. That is quite an achievement. Well, maybe it is. You could love everybody then. Proud. Oh, boy. And I have to be proud of you. That's the ultimate. That's what Pride Night is about. I'm proud of you for being a bisexual. I'm proud of you for being gay. Not you are a fellow citizen who happens to be gay, end of issue, which is my attitude. No. I have to declare you are wonderful for being gay. That's different. Well, we're living in different times. Not particularly a fan of the women's soccer team. Now she's retiring. That's good news, and went out on a very unheroic note. Will the team change now that she is leaving? I'm really very curious. There were a few of the women, I didn't say all at any time, who slightly mumbled the words of the national anthem. The Daily Mail had a fascinating contrast. When the U.S. played the Netherlands, it showed the Dutch women gustily singing the Dutch national anthem. And the Dutch, they're super duper liberal. But our country has been more poisoned and sending more poison than almost any Western country. You don't have contempt for their flag in any Western country like you do in the United States. I think that's correct, right? Have you seen that at any international forum? No. It's really something. What do people think? That flag flies over Normandy Beach. Thousands of young men died horrible deaths for that flag. I think of the American troops in Asia fighting the Japanese Nazi-like fascists. The more you learn about what the Japanese did to Asians, the more you realize many things, including the staggering racism that was inherent to Japanese culture. They were as racist to Chinese and Koreans. They were more racist than the average American was to blacks. There's, in fact, no comparison. Very few Americans thought it would be okay to have black comfort women. Now you'll say, well, under slavery, there were black women who were raped. That is true. It is an evil, and it was abolished. But the Japanese were doing this in the middle of the 20th century. We abolished slavery in the 1860s. And it still wasn't quite the same as the comfort women. There are levels of evil where a dozen men a day would come and rape Korean women. They also did it to Filipino women. That I didn't know. The American flag has symbolized liberty. And these ingrates won't sing the national anthem or put their hand over their heart or any other way honor the flag. And I'm supposed to root for them? Not quite. The last hour I was playing for you is a remarkable video of an African, not African American, African woman, a beautiful woman, as it happens, who has her own podcast, and she decided to play Candace Owens' History of Slavery, put out by PragerU. And all she does in real time, watching the video, is react, oh my God, oh wow. Whites didn't invent slavery. They're the ones who first abolished it. Never knew that. Do you learn that at almost any school in America? How many kids graduating high school or college know that whites were the first to abolish slavery? I would say close to zero. Dennis Prager here. The endless stuff that is coming out. Here's one that most of you probably don't know. Coca-Cola owned coffee chain. Whoa, look at that. It's embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. I will admit, completely embarrassing. It doesn't normally happen, but it did. Coca-Cola-owned coffee chain faces boycott calls over trans ad showing breast removal scars. Have you heard about this? A coffee chain owned by Coca-Cola is facing boycott calls in the UK. It's called Costa Coffee. It's a leading coffee shop chain. I know. Well, you know it. I knew you'd know it. I knew you would know it. You know your coffee chains. I'm not being cute. So listen to this. They have a promotional material that features a cartoon image of a transgender person with prominent scars from surgical breast removal. Is that sick? Is that sick? Costa Coffee, a leading coffee shop chain in the UK, used the cartoon-like mural on the side of a Costa Express van, with critics saying it glorifies life-changing gender reassignment surgery and fuels gender dysphoria. No kidding. Hey, let's all look at a girl who had her breasts removed. Here, the scars, the chest, isn't that charming? You are promoting the mutilation of healthy young girls, Reclaim Party leader Lawrence Fox wrote. in a post on the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. I hope you were boycotted out of existence. Mr. Fox punctuated his post with the hashtag boycott Costa Coffee. I see it. Here's the picture. It's a cartoon. Scars in place of breasts. Yeah, that's really something to be celebrated, isn't it? Wow. This is the statement of Costa Coffee. Is that the biggest chain in the UK? Is Starbucks competitive there?
Yeah.
So this and Starbucks are the biggest, I guess? I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know how big they are, but they're all over Europe.
Yeah, they're all over Europe, not just UK?
Yeah.
Oh. At Costa Coffee, we celebrate the diversity of our customers, team members, and partners. We want everyone that interacts with us to experience the inclusive environment that we create, to encourage people to feel welcomed, free, and unashamedly proud of themselves. The mural in its entirety showcases and celebrates inclusivity. It celebrates pathology. All I do is pity these girls. They're not to be celebrated. The people who took part in this overwhelmingly have done something terrible to these young people. The mural in its entirety showcases and celebrates inclusivity. Wow. The bulk of the reactions on the X platform appear to be sharply critical. If they wish to promote dangerous medical procedures on little girls who may need careful and compassionate help, not corporate-sponsored surgery, I will refrain from drinking horrendous coffee. Attorney Jeremy Breyer wrote in a post. Yeah, this is what is happening. It is happening all over. There's really a lot of pathology in America today. There's always been pathology in every society. That's why I warned people all of my broadcast career about the fragility of civilization. The question was not why did America have slavery? Why were there lynchings? All of these are horrible things. The question is, how did America get so good? Remember one of my mottos in life. The bad in America was universal. The good in America was unique. So what you try to do is spread the unique, the freedom, the opportunities that were unique to America, which is why people wanted to come here, like my grandparents. Where on earth did they most want to go? They were from Eastern Europe. Why did they just go to Western Europe? A lot easier than to cross the Atlantic at the end of the 19th century, knowing they would never, ever again see their parents, and they didn't. That was it. Goodbye. No way to call them up. Wouldn't have the money to go back. They came to America. That's what they're tearing down on the left. DeSantis' Florida approves climate denial videos in schools from Scientific America. Do you know how many videos we have put up at PragerU? Just the 5-minute videos, there are about 600. Do you know how many are on about climate? About, what, 8?
More than that.
10? All right, 15.
Yeah.
Okay, 15. What is 15 into 600? Let's see, 1/30th? That's 450. That's 450. 1/40th? Yeah. 1 out of 40 videos is on climate. And this is the headline. DeSantis' Florida approves climate. And you know who give these, among others? Bjorn Lomborg. The Wall Street Journal, which is a pretty serious newspaper, that's their chief commentator on climate. The Danish Bjorn Lomborg, who was never denied that the Earth is getting, never denied the Earth is getting warmer. We return. So when she walked in to the studio about 20 minutes ago, I looked at Jill Simonian, who was head of all the child programming at PragerU, and I said, "You may be the most hated woman in your little town." I have to tell you, Jill Simonian, who is a treasure, I'm laughing because there must be times at 3 a.m. when she gets up and thinks, why did I ever discover PragerU? Or worse, why did they ever discover me? I was having such a happy life with my husband and kids. And then all hell broke loose. Jill, I see you in so many left-wing hate videos. Yeah.
I'm trying not to laugh right now because I don't want to interrupt your show, but I am laughing because yes.
I shouldn't be laughing. I should be sort of commiserating, but you are now the recipient of massive love and massive hate. I welcome you to the club.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
That's right. Exactly. That's how I feel. It's an honor to be here. It
is.
So tell everybody officially what you do at PragerU.
Okay, so I am the, they call it the Director of Outreach for PragerU Kids, which is a very fancy title for creating some of the PragerU Kids shows, which I also appear in, particularly for our younger students. PragerU Kids is, of course, kindergarten through 12th grade, so I create some of the shows. And then I also provide insight and commentary online, as many of your fans will see me on Instagram or Facebook commenting about what's happening in our schools from a mom's point of view.
So for those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, I'm speaking to you, my listeners, it has been featured in almost every mainstream news source, almost every, with a massive attack on Florida for allowing. They're not mandating, they're not telling teachers what to do. They're simply allowing a teacher to show a video, either one of the young children's videos, which I want you to talk about, or our regular video made for everybody. For example, we have videos. How many presidents have we covered now? About 30?
We're not that many, but...
About
25.
25, okay. So we have videos, for example, on 25 presidents. We'll eventually have on every single one. If you can find any reason to think of any of them as objectionable, even if you are a liberal, well, a leftist will find it objectionable because we don't call every president despicable. But all we want is kids to learn. So we're very, very popular. Who is it I just had on? You will really love this, Jill. I just had on Kimberly Strassel. She is a member of the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, which is huge.
Wow.
And she writes her own column. She's awesome. She is just one terrific writer and fighter. And out of nowhere, she just mentions to me at the end of the interview, I just want you to know my kids watch every PragerU video.
Wow.
But I get that all the time. You must understand, Jill.
Yeah.
You're in her home in Alaska. That's where she lives.
That gives me chills.
It gave me the chills.
Yeah.
It's funny that we both had chills at the same time. So explain what the children's videos are about.
They're to educate our kids about history, civics, financial literacy, our values, hard work, perseverance, freedom, equality under God. We have magazines that teach kids about the biographies of our presidents, about important women in history. I mean, these are all very controversial topics, right, Dennis?
Hate-filled.
Terrible. They're terrible. They're just destructive. But our purpose is that we want to educate kids with a whole view of the history of our shared values in this country so that children can learn that, that we are one people, e pluribus unum. I keep using that phrase ever since I learned it, quite frankly, for the first time when I started working for PragerU Kids. I keep using that phrase so that people can understand our purpose is to unite us through our differences and to teach kids how to do that. And we have videos and magazines and books and all sorts of really fun stuff, and it's all free on our website.
See, that's why they're really objecting. They hate e pluribus unum. Hate it. They hate all our mottos: liberty, pluribus unum, and God we trust.
I'm learning that now.
Yes, and you're teaching that.
Right.
We'll be back in a moment. It's August, and it's donation month for PragerU. Hello, everybody. The Ultimate Issues Hour on the Dennis Prager Show every Tuesday, the third hour. This is a different one. I haven't done this, but it's been triggered. Whoa, that is a key word. It has been triggered by this. Do you know even what caused this? This massive preoccupation with this video on slavery? Yeah. You can never explain it. They take on a life of their own. It's like I just heard yet again this massive revival of the video of me on Bill Maher's show when I said to him that the left says men menstruate and he laughed at me. It is priceless. It is a true education on the speed with which people believe lies. Not bad, big, gigantic, yes, bad too, lies. So, this has been somewhat revelatory, somewhat, not fully. This I suspected, but now I know it. And the subject is the distorted educational system of our society. And let me give you the background here. Candace Owens made a number of videos for PragerU, and one of them was a history of slavery. A short history of slavery, thank you. Which everybody should see. I now almost know by heart because I've seen it so often. It's really terrific. And a theme of it is whites did not create slavery. In fact, they were the first to formally abolish it. All right. We have black podcaster, all young black podcaster after another, looking at the video, real-time reactions. What? I never learned that. Oh my God, is that true? That's what they're saying. I'm not even interpolating. That's what they're actually saying as they watch the Candace Owens PragerU video. One of them says, wait a minute, I wasn't taught any of this at school. Is it true? Whites did not start slavery? You know the number of lies about whites that the left has been telling? Like, for example, white police officers killing unarmed black men. Do you know what the actual number is? Do you know what people believe? They think it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a year. It's under 20. And unarmed doesn't mean not dangerous. They could be very strong, bigger and stronger than the policeman or policewoman, and trying to grab the officer's gun. That's called unarmed, because the person is technically not armed. They're armed with their arms. Anyway, it's about 20 or less a year. All these lies, the impression is that whites, specifically European whites, well, that's where whites are from, so, or more specifically American whites, really created the slave trade. So I'm going to play for you black podcasters' reactions as they watch this PragerU video with Candace Owens. I started it in the first hour, and we'll just pick up. Just allow me again to remind you that the very beginning. Are we watching the Empress? The African woman? Is that? We're continuing with the African woman? Yeah, she's African, not African American. She might be living in America. I don't know where she lives, but she is African. And she has her own, apparently, she usually concentrates on music. Yeah. And she's quite, what is it, Empress what? What is her name? You dig it up for me. I'd like to give her credit. I'll tell you why I'm giving her credit, because she doesn't just react defensively. Oh, that's nonsense. Oh, I don't believe that. They're lying. Oh, no. She goes, wow, why didn't I learn this?
Empress Joy Jean.
Empress Joy Jean. Should send her a thank you note. A thank you note for being open to truth. That's all we ask. That's all we ask. Will they object to showing this to kids in Florida schools? It's a good question, isn't it? Okay, so here again, what you have is the Empress Joy what? I'm getting there.
Yeah, Joy Jean.
Joy Jean. Empress Joy Jean, about 30-year-old, particularly attractive woman. I'm allowed to say it because I'm normal, and I noticed it. Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize for noticing good-looking women. By the way, I say this about men when they're good-looking, just for the record. I'm more interested in good-looking women, but I have no compunction about saying this guy's particularly good-looking if I'm talking about him. Anyway, so Empress Joy Jean is in the bigger box, and in the little box is the Candace Owens video, A Short History of Slavery. And I wish you could see, you can. We've put this up at DennisPrager.com. You should watch it. Just watch her the whole time that Candace is speaking. All right, continue.
No one, regardless of skin color, stands guiltless. Yet today we are never told to consider the murderous Persian Empire or the cannibalism of indigenous tribes of North and South America or the heinous actions under the imperialistic Muslim, Chinese, Mongol, or Japanese empires, to name just a few. Instead, we're told that slavery is a white phenomenon.
Now, wait, you have to see her face she is vociferously nodding her head. Nodding is yes, shaking is no. And she's just so demonstrative in her reaction to Candace. It is breathtaking in the significance of getting through to someone who had this lying left-wing vision of whites. Go ahead, please.
This lie spawns a bunch of other lies. On social media, I come across extraordinary depictions about how Africans lived like pharaohs before Europeans came and laid waste to their paradise.
I was taught the same.
I wish
you hear that?
Any of this
I
was true,
taught the same. The honesty of this woman is breathtaking. That's what she was taught. The whites disrupted a world of grandiose, pharaoh-like existence. Go ahead.
It's not. It's a fantasy. The truth is that Africans were sold into slavery by other black Africans, and in many cases,
her mouth
sold
is
for items as
wide
trivial.
open hearing that. Africans sold other Africans to white slave traders? It is a look of incredulity. Continue.
As gin and mirrors.
You know, now she's yeah. Okay, go ahead. Talk. Go ahead.
Let me get this right here. So Africans sold so the black sold black in exchange for mirrors and gin, things as small and as cheap as this. How could this be?
Oh God, is that worth everything? I could cry. The woman is so sincere. Blacks sold blacks for things as little as mirrors and gin. This is all revelatory. And that's what they don't want seen by any child in America.
I was born this way. I've been living a life.
This is the Ultimate Issues Hour. I'm Dennis Prager. What you are taught in an American school about slavery, about whites, about blacks, the enforced ignorance of the despicable left-wing curricula, basically implying that whites invented slavery, and I have proof because of all these black young podcasters watching this video, A Short History of Slavery by Candace Owens for PragerU, and they're shocked. On camera, they're shocked to learn these things. This Empress, give me the name again. Joy Jean, yeah. For whatever reason, Joy Jean doesn't stay in my brain. She's quite commendable. She is startled. She says, I never learned these things. I never learned these things. I didn't know this. Whites didn't create slavery. Blacks sold slaves. Blacks had slavery. Whites abolished slavery. Whites were slaves. Slave comes from Slav. There were so many Slavic white slaves captured by Muslims. Is there a single course in one American high school about the Arab/Muslim slavery of blacks? I think it's the most extensive ever. Is there one course on it? Of course not. Because the courses aren't there to teach you about slavery. They're there to teach you to hate whites. That's it. That's the purpose. And why hate whites? Because the agenda is to hate Western civilization, which is associated with whites. That's why this is an Ultimate Issues Hour topic. This is what is being taught. And we're undoing it. That's why the massive uproar, including now a tweet from the governor of California against Florida using PragerU videos. Yeah, they hate little truths. They say that PragerU says slavery is no big deal. It is so typical. This is what Newsom, Media Matters, NewsGuard, PolitiFact, all the rest of the left-wing world do. They lie about what you say. We never say that slavery is no big deal. In a cartoon video of Christopher Columbus, with two kids who come from the future to visit Columbus in the past, he says slavery is no big deal. Because in the 15th century, slavery was no big deal. And then when he learns, they never tell you this, the liars of the left. They never tell you the rest of the sequence. When he learns from these kids who come from the future in a time machine that one day slavery will be abolished. He's thrilled. They don't tell you that, do they? Of course not. Instead, Newsom sends out a tweet today that PragerU says that slavery is no big deal. This video with this Empress Joy Jean, an African woman, is priceless in her shocked and sorrowful reactions to never having learned these things, as she's learning from the Candace Owens PragerU video about slavery. We continue.
Wow, like this is just the height of it. Everything she says so far is totally different from my ideology of slavery.
Okay, this is precious. This woman is so honest. It's almost ecstatic. I feel pleasure hormones through my body. This is the opposite of what she was taught, and she uses the key word, slavery ideology. That's correct. That's what they get, is slavery ideology. This is the opposite. You are not taught history in an American high school or college. You are taught ideology. We continue.
Told about slavery.
Whites didn't go into the interior and round up the natives. They waited on the coast for their black partners to bring them black bodies. The stark reality is that our lives had very little value to our ancestors.
Imagine.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
She's paying.
If you think slavery is a relic of the past, you're wrong. There are some 700,000 slaves in Africa today, right now. That's the lowest estimate that I could find. Other sources say there are many more. For context, that's almost twice as many slaves as were ever brought to the United States. Child soldiers, human trafficking, forced labor.
Wow.
These are the conditions that currently exist within the same sub-Saharan region where the transatlantic slave trade originated. African bodies are being sold today like they were sold then. And no, they are not being purchased by any country of white men. In fact, slavery, by any traditional definition, is exclusively practiced today within non-white countries. But we hear almost nothing about that. Just like we hear nothing about how slavery was universal until good people in Europe and America ended it 2 centuries ago. Why? Because our so-called leaders, black and white, wouldn't profit from it. Black victimhood is nothing if not profitable. It elects politicians and funds racial grievance groups.
She's
and if black Americans began to view themselves as partners in the American dream, if we embraced the patriotic spirit that holds all men are created equal.
Please go to PragerU.com. Help us make more of these videos. Thank you. Back in a moment.
The Dennis Prager Show.
Find us, we'll know the shoe.
This is truly a dramatic hour. It's the ultimate issues hour. The distorted education American kids get from elementary school through high school through college with regard to slavery and whites and blacks. And what we're doing is we're showing you, or really playing for you, but you could actually see it. Go to DennisPrager.com. We've put them up, of major young black podcasters watching the PragerU video by Candace Owens, A Short History of Slavery. Watch them react, saying right to their fans, I never knew this. I was never taught this. Nobody told me this. Just parenthetically, that's why the left is so crazed about Florida allowing PragerU videos into classrooms. In 5 minutes, we can tell you all the truth you need to know to undo the 12 years of lies you've had. This is proof. This is proof of our educational system's distortion. Just telling young people, black or white, whites didn't invent slavery. It was universal. Whites abolished slavery. How many know that? By the way, you got to find this for me. One of the outlets that attacked PragerU said that we said that the Civil War was not fought because of slavery. Please show me. That is as out and out a lie as saying Dennis Prager is a giraffe. It is the opposite of the truth. The whole video is that the Civil War was fought because of slavery. There were actually some conservatives who were annoyed with us about that. Yes. Because truth is not a left-wing value. This hour is proving it. So this is Empress Joy Jean, who's a very popular podcaster about music, apparently, a young African woman, and she is startled by this 5-minute video, which is coming to an end with her reactions. Let's do that.
The patriotic spirit that is our real heritage. And the race hustlers would soon be out of business. And who wants that? I'm Candace Owens, author of Blackout for Prager University.
Thank you.
Thank you for
so
watching
much.
this video. To keep
Thank
PragerU videos
you.
free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay, in all of this, the most shocking one is that slavery is still ongoing today. Like, it hasn't even come to an end yet. And then there are over 700,000 slaves today. And it is not the white people enslaving the blacks. It is the black enslaving the blacks. I am so mad at this point because I know we learn to unlearn, but everything she said so far is totally different. It is even contradicting to my ideology of slavery. Guys, as an African, when I hear slavery, what comes to mind is the white enslaving the blacks. This is what I was told, and this is what I was made to believe. This is the story, this is the history that I was made to believe about slavery. And unfortunately, the history of slavery isn't taught in African schools. I feel so used. I feel like I have been lied to in the past. I am just pissed. I feel like a child, like, when you're learning something for the first time. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for YouTube. At least I have gained a different kind of knowledge today. And
I have the chills. I do. I'm chilled. This woman, this is so important. Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager here. Ultimate Issues Hour. This is a big ultimate issue. The lies your kids are taught about slavery, blacks, whites, in virtually every school in America. And we have the living proof. All these young blacks, popular podcasters, reacting to the PragerU video given by Candace Owens, a short history of slavery. Shocked. Just the fact that whites didn't invent it. This woman, though, this Empress Joy Jean, she's she's an African, and she's a podcaster about music. And her last comments at the end of the video This is the opposite of everything I was ever taught. Do you see how 5 minutes can affect a human being? That's the power of truth. The power of truth. That could be the motto of PragerU. The power of truth. I'm not kidding. Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a power to lies, too. I'm not naive. Men give birth is widely believed. This was all revelatory. Jacksonville, Florida. Nancy, hello.
Hi, Dennis. I wanted to say, first of all, I am for PragerU being taught in the schools. It's about time somebody took the reins and started teaching an alternate view of truth. That's kind of a sarcastic thing. What I wanted to know, and also I'm a mother and a grandmother, what I wanted to know is how long were you and our great Governor DeSantis discussing using PragerU material in the public schools before you actually brought it about? I mean, I am so impressed with Governor DeSantis.
You should be.
He is astounding.
He is. That's correct.
And I think his training in the military helped him a lot. But let me know, how long? Yeah,
that's a good question. I don't even know the answer. I'll ask Alan. Do you know how long they were talking, the governor's office and PragerU?
Well,
I'm not even sure they were talking. I think it was a decision made because a lot of his aides and maybe his family watch it. I know he Governor DeSantis and I had a dialogue at a PragerU gala in Palm Beach, right? It was in Palm Beach, yeah. And so he is personally quite familiar with PragerU. For all I know, he uses it with his kids.
his wife said they did.
Oh, his wife said they did. Okay, see, they didn't have to talk to us. I don't know if they did. They didn't talk to me. I don't know if they talked to Marissa or Jill. I don't know. But the point is, it's not like we're in negotiation with governors. They know about us. In most cases, they have their kids watch it. And remember something, folks. This is not mandating the viewing of this in schools of Florida. This is allowing it. Teacher doesn't want to show any, they don't show any. They want to show 3, they show 3. We have a video on James Buchanan. You ever hear of James Buchanan? Good chance you never heard of James Buchanan. And if you did, all you know is he was a president, the one before Lincoln. People don't know anything about James Buchanan. You watch our video, you'll know a lot about him. That's it. What exactly is political about a James Buchanan or Martin Van Buren or Rutherford B. Hayes, right? I know we've done all of them because I work on them with you.
We haven't quite gotten to Rutherford.
I thought we had Rutherford B.
We
Hayes.
had the script.
We had the script. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I know, the script.
It's not out yet.
Not out yet. People are just, they're all writing in. When is Rutherford B. Hayes coming out?
After Grant.
After Grant?
Yeah.
It's that the reactions. Sean, if you could do that, I want people to hear it again. I want you to hear this African woman. Just the last part. Just as soon as the video ends, could you rewind it to that? That's all I want. I want her reaction to the Candace Owens PragerU video, A Short History of Slavery. I'd like to play this. This is got to join the Hall of Fame audio. Here, this is this African woman, young woman, very popular podcaster, reacting to the video, A Short History of Slavery.
Oh my God.
Her mouth is open.
Okay, in all of this, the most shocking one is that Slavery is still ongoing today. Like, it hasn't even come to an end yet. And then there are over 700,000 slaves today. And it is not the white people enslaving the blacks. It is the black enslaving the blacks. I am so mad at this point because I know we learn to unlearn, but everything she said so far is totally different.
Totally different.
It is even contradicting to my ideology of slavery. Guys, as an African, when I hear slavery, what comes to mind is the white enslaving the blacks. This is what I was told, and this is what I was made to believe. This is the story, this is the history that I was made to believe about slavery. And unfortunately, the history of slavery isn't taught in African schools. I feel so used. I feel like I have been lied to in the past. I am just pissed. I feel like a child, like, you know, when you're learning something for the first time. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for YouTube. At least I have gained a different kind of knowledge today, and I will share this knowledge to others, because what our parents, our neighbors, our ancestors made us to believe about slavery is not what it truly is about. Just imagine people giving out other humans for something as cheap as Miro, something as cheap as Jane. It's even the black enslaving the black. So what are we saying then? Okay, now for this course here, for this reason here, I will have to dig deep into slavery, because at this point I think I need to learn so much. I need to learn to unlearn what I've been told in the past. Because
I need to learn to unlearn. Another motto we should adopt. God bless you, Empress. Hi, everybody. When you realize the reactions, she's African, but the reactions we have on other videos are from black Americans, and they're shocked. Slavery was universal. Everybody enslaved everybody. Blacks, whites. Did whites enslave whites? Who were?
Oh, of course.
Where was that?
The Vikings, that was their whole...
Oh, the Vikings. They were not... It's amazing that there's a Minnesota Vikings team, because they were disgusting, the Vikings. They raped and they pillaged.
Every summer they got slaves.
Yeah, that's right. They got slaves, yeah. But it was universal. When Greeks had slaves, was it other Greeks? Who was it part of the hierarchy? Who did Greeks use for slaves? Because they defended slavery. Anyway, that it was amazing to her and every podcaster that we could watch that whites didn't create slavery and whites abolished slavery. Shows you how distorted the so-called education they get is. And Eric in Round Rock, Texas. Hello.
Hello. So I wanted to kind of touch on the video that you're playing with the African lady. And, you know, she is an African immigrant that does not resonate with foundational black Americans of America or descendants of the slave. Everybody knows that you all use those African immigrants to push your agendas. So it would be more believable if you got a a foundational Black American.
You're okay. I take your challenge, and I just want you to know, I wish we had more time, but I'm very happy I got your challenge. All the other reactions to the Candace Owens video will be American blacks. And I just want you to know in advance, they're identical to hers. Identical. I don't think her reaction is because she's African. And I don't know if she's an immigrant. She might be. I don't know.
She lives in Nigeria.
She lives in Nigeria. Okay. Oh, yeah, because she talked about African schools. She reacted as a human, which is how we should all react. Dennis Prager here. Thanks for listening to the Daily Dennis Prager Podcast. To hear the entire 3 hours of my radio show, commercial-free, every single day, become a member of Pragertopia. You'll also get access to 15 years' worth of archives, as well as the daily show prep. Subscribe at pragertopia.com.